Hey, all right, it's working. All right, I think everything's up and running, the live stream, the audio stream, and most importantly, Channel 11. I don't hear any gray line coming in either.
Well, go or no go for liftoff.
As they say, this is the Old Tube Radio Network.
Find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR,
brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
RADIO. That's a good thing. I hope many of you have jumped into the RADIO this week. I've heard that the bands have been open. There have been some skip openings, which is a nice thing to have, especially if you are into RADIO. Welcome to the Old Tube Radio Network, where real radios often glow in the dark, and they will be doing that here after the roll call when we ask for those classic radio stations from 1958 to about 1978 with the vacuum tubes produced for the Class D, or maybe not, but produced for 11 meters from our radio operators, wherever they might be tonight, whether it's local here in the Central Valley of California or perhaps in some type of ducting or e-skip situation, which has been taking place here in the sort of pre-summer evenings. It is currently 80 degrees. I haven't heard any gray line come in from Hawaii yet, and we'll see what happens. My name is Dennis, your net control operator, reminding you that the purpose of the Old Tube Radio Network is to promote the use and distribute information about old tube radios whenever we can, and we will do just that. So let's get started. For those playing the home game, where are we at? It's the May 23rd edition, number 3 on your roster, and we are looking for SWL 00. And there is Mr. Ray checking in. You are sounding good here on the AM side.
Audio, Dennis.
Uh-oh, I've got no audio?
Great audio.
Oh, great audio. All right. I wasn't hearing Ray too well, and I wasn't sure. Well, okay. Yeah, I see all the wiggle meters happening. We'll catch 00 in the second round coming through. And thanks, Bob, for the audio report. See what happens when the SWLs fix their stations to make my station sound better. SWL number 1. One of the dudes that started this whole thing 35 years ago, getting the cosmic check-in. Let's go over to SWL 2. I was out running around. I did not check on the stream sides, and there is Mr. OBP over on the live stream. Hello, Kevin, on the live stream video side. So I will get Mr. OBP checked in. Another one of those stations that back in the days when you could have 9 pounds at good modulation and switch down to channel 11 on a Saturday evening and have some fun like we are going to try to do tonight. SWL 3. Got a proxy for 3. SWL 4. SWL 5. I have a check-in for Ida, Mama Rose, one of our many net controllers here on the Old Tube Radio Network. I saw her, well, actually, I talked to her over the phone this week, and she is actually doing good, and that's a good thing. SWL 6. Shortwave listener 7.
SWL 7, checking in.
SWL 7 checking in. How is the QRM and QRN tonight?
Not that bad at the moment. It's a little high, but not bad. So I'll keep the fingers crossed.
All right. Well, you're hearing the undermodulated mud machine in Midtown here, so that's a plus. That means things are working okay. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
Next, we come up to SWL 13, and Mike, Mr. Cover, is right there, saying hello radio over at oldtuberadio.net. Not a bad way to check in if you can't get to your microphonium. And sounding good, Mr. Cobra, looking good, SWL 14. SWL 15. SWL 16. Shortwave listener 17. SWL 18. And got our proxy check in from Mr. KDA from Facebook, SWL 19. SWL 20.
Now number 20 here. Check in 29 and 54. And I'll be back later.
Okay, good to hear you at the microphonium. We got you checked in last week, and glad they are leaving you alone tonight so you can play some radio.
Oh, yeah. Probably shouldn't have left me alone too much. I took my extra little check and took some of it and bought some tubes. I'll explain that a little later. Okay. I'll be back after a while, and we're up.
Okay, tubes. Buying tubes is always a good thing. So I don't think you can go wrong with that. We will check in with you and find out what tubes you bought and perhaps what tubes or what devices those tubes went into. Thanks for checking in. Then we go over to, who's next? SWL 21. Is he still, I don't think he's still on the, no, it looks like it's over. The old radio night tonight on the Courier 23 Plus and the BL. I think that stands for a business band something, and reverse 100 reverse preamp, which is the matching, I guess it's a matching reverse preamp for the Courier tonight. Let's see if 20, there he is. 10.6. What is 10.6? Is that standing by? I've forgotten my 10 code. It's a 10.6 short. Hello, JT. Sounding good on the world's longest ground rod out there in South Carolina, peeking up from the Wasama swamps. Then we've got SWL 22. Guess I should see, let me go over to the other screen, see exactly who is. We got a lot of people in the audience tonight. Starting up way up there in the balcony from Mariposa here in California to Hendersonville, Tennessee. We'll be coming up to you. Hello to Colorado, Inglewood. There's British Columbia. Garibaldi. That's a different one. I wonder if it's the same one we're used to. Probably not. I think the Squamish gang is in there somewhere because I see them. Hello to Boonesboro, Maryland, Kerman, Fresno here in Central California. Somerville, South Carolina, of course, Centerville, Virginia coming up to you. Woodland Park, Colorado, waiting for the E-Skip. Hello to San Jose and North Fork. There's our gang from Squamish, Albers, and all the rest out there. Logan, Ohio. I want to say Utah. That's our rival here, one of our Fresno State rivals. Canby, Oregon, coming up to you. Tulsa, Oklahoma, coming up to you. Anoka, Minnesota. Charlie, listening to me doing the testing. He was here for the pre-show. He got the signed the signed copy of the script tonight, and of course our station there in New York. Okay, everybody is accounted for. Let's try SWL 23. I see San Jose is in there. I want to see if Mitch has got the 23 Skidoo up and running. And of course, Warren is also out there. Warren Scott also out there in Hendersonville. Mitch, if you're there, I don't see you. I see the San Jose, but that could be somebody else. It's buzzing. Something is buzzing. I hope that's not a bad buzz. SWL 24. SWL 25.
SL 25, Julie checking in for Mr. Chair.
Okay, we don't need a proxy when Miss Julie is at the microphonium. I will put an X in the square as requested for Mr. Sidekick. That is his 11-meter CB handle, and you are sounding marvelous from the radio room tonight. Over.
Thank you, Mr. G.
All right, thanks for keying up the microphonium, and as they say on 11 meters, being worldwide, and that is a good thing. At least here on the radio. We're going to go over to page 2, and we are looking for SWL 27. I do have the crossband on. I think I heard him on one of the 2-meter frequencies. I'll get Dwayne checked in. I know he's still kind of de-dusting and putting back together the radio room after the re-roof. SWL 28. Got a proxy check-in for SWL 29 over to SWL 30. SWL 31, one of the stations tuning in tonight from Hendersonville, Tennessee. Robert and Teresa might be in there. Well, Hendersonville is represented. Warren is out there, so I'll put an X for 31, and if they actually come in, I will make it even bigger. I've got the red pen. The red pen is here tonight, doing everything. Let's try SWL 32. SWL 33, myself, the Jingle Singers, Mr. Announcer, whoever else tends to wander in Studio B tonight. We'll get all of those checked in. SWL 34. And then a guy who we miss a lot here in the Central Valley, Mr. Bill, Red Monkey Communications. The shop, when it was here in the Central Valley, doing what it's still doing, is providing a lot of items of interest for your 11-meter and more radio needs. Mr. Bill kept a lot of us up and running on the air with either various pieces and parts or radios and antennas. Working the room. Mr. Bill, are you there? Yes, checking in from Cheyenne, Wyoming. Hope all is well out there. Hope the trailer is keeping busy. Next, over to SWL 36. SWL 37. Oh, the check-ins aren't showing up in the top left corner. Why is that? Let me put on, hey, there we go. Somehow, something got changed on the video. All right, there it is. There's the OTR check-in things. Thank you for that. Who told me? Somebody told me that. Brown Dog Audio. I'm glad somebody is paying attention here. SWL 37. I need, what is it, an assistant director. That's what we have in Intel. They've got producers, directors, assistant directors, audio people, video crews. That's the thing. It's this one-man show isn't cutting it. SWL 38. SWL 39. SWL 40. I'm hearing a lot of SWL 40 on the other bands. He must have stopped to look out the window, whatever's happening in his neighborhood. And I think, is that Eric? Yeah. Okay. Hi, Eric. Let's go over to page 1, and we'll put the big X in the square for, now that I've got the video working, you'll see it right there. 17? No. Yeah, it's 17. There it goes. And then we click it, and then you get checked in. The Carolina Kid, one of our net controllers. Radios are coming up, if I didn't tell you. The tube radios, SWL 40. And SWL 41, Road Dog 507. Worldwide Sideband 507. Sideband has been working. I tried some 16 lower on channel 16 when we had the E-skip ducting, even called a rousting CQ. And I got nothing. But that doesn't mean there wasn't anybody out there. It just means I wasn't heard. Okay, hope all is going well out there in New York and the Hudson Valley. Thank you, 507. Let's try SWL 42. All right, there's 41. For some reason, 51 was being checked in, but 41 is definitely the one we want. SWL 42. SWL 43, who checked in over at the old Tube Radio Network site, saying there is a little bit of a noise tonight. Crazy Eddie, I've got you checked in. Sorry about my wimpy signal tonight, but we do have you checked in. Also, 44 once again as 00. He's hearing the skip from Hawaii, so they'll probably be in until we get through with the gray line. Anyway, Ray, we've got you for check-in number 2. All right, there's the Roger. Next, we are looking for, what comes after 44? How about SWL 45? Well, I saw North Fork listening in on the audio stream. If that's you, Paul, I'll get you checked in. Maybe you're having some radio problems tonight. Could be, but anyway, Paul, we're checking you. I know you're out there listening. Paul will not miss a Saturday evening on OTR. He's either got to be going to a wedding, maybe his. No, he's been married to Kelly for a long time, or somebody else's wedding, or something important. If he's not by the radio, but I think he's by the other radio. Let's try SWL 46. Okay, doing the sort of the ground hop skyway from Chowchilla, 7144 Rush. I've got a copy on you. Hopefully you can hear the mismodulated Midtown Mud Station. You are checked in, over. All right, Chowchilla is in. Tested the signals from this station earlier, SWL 47.
Well, good evening, OTR, and all of the other shortwave listeners. Greetings from the Radio Lounge, SWL 47.
Radio Lounge is still sounding quite nice at probably 79 or 80 degrees here in the Central Valley. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, and before I get out of here right now, I just want to say bravo to the San Francisco Fire Department. I don't know if everyone caught it on the news today, but super early this morning, a little after 4 in the morning, I believe it was Pier 45, part of Pier 45 caught on fire and completely burned down. And that is right next door to where the SS Jeremiah O'Brien is kind of docked. The O'Brien's like, I think it's the only seaworthy ship that's still in existence that actually participated in D-Day. And literally, I was reading the news this morning. They said that the fire was actually kind of extending over the ship itself, and I think they had some sort of a fire tug come in and try and spray everything down. It saved the ship. It's truly amazing. So bravo to the San Francisco Fire Department. Anyone, I don't know if anyone's listening from the Bay Area right now, but you got to buy them a cup of coffee if you see them.
Okay, we've got a San Francisco station listening in, but I think they're a little ways from the pier. But obviously their training and practice has paid off, and we don't need any more disasters. We're probably going to have enough fires and everything else coming up in the next couple of months. So good to know that they were able to take care of that. Thanks for the update. And Dwayne, 27, if you're listening, I look over on the other radio here and I see 146550 is up. I was talking to Larry earlier, and maybe I don't have my AF gain. He was really loud, so I think I turned my volume down to compensate for his over deviation. So maybe if you were there, I didn't hear you, but I did put an X in the square, as it were. In fact, let me do it again if you're watching. I put X in the square for 27, so you are checked in. Over to SWL 48. SWL 49.
Good evening, Dennis. 49 and...
Sweet Country Mama just checking in. Dennis, wishing you and the SWLs out there a good evening.
Thank you, Dennis.
And thank you. 49, Smitty and Sweet Country Mama on the... Boy, loud. You've got everything dialed in tonight, Brian. Sounding really good here in Midtown Fresno. Also, I was able to make the Friday night as a sideband net, and I heard you sneak in. I heard you sneak in right at the end. So you're AM, FM, and sideband capable here this week. Thanks for checking in.
Hey, thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis.
Next, we have SWL 50. SWL 51.
SWL 51 checking in.
Gotcha. I'm trying to type on two different keyboards here and talk at the same time. I got rid of my chewing gum because I knew I couldn't do all that. Hello, Dave, out there near Sangertown, and always sounding good. We've got you checked in on the old Tube Radio Network. That takes us to SWL 52. I don't see Aaron. Sometimes he puts me on the big screen. That's kind of scary. I've had a couple people say that they're watching on the big screen. So I try I try to feature radios more than the control room pictures here. So my apologies to those who do watch on the big screen. Just scrolling down some of the earlier messages that I missed. Hello, Teresa. She is listening in. 31 is there. Who else? 21. I missed your post there. Having a great Memorial Day. Need to leave for a short. Be back. All right. He's got the "Be Back Soon" sign up at the desk. And there's Keith 1234. Hello from Keith in Rocky Mountain, VA. Hello there. TJ Washington, internet check-in. Hello, TJ. It's been a while. TJ is one of our long-time digital SWLs. Good to see you in there. Okay, I think I've got getting caught up on everybody here. There are more, but we will get to you. Let's try SWL 53. Pretty sure I heard Bob check in on the sideband net. He'll probably pop in here tonight. The old Tube Radio Network with the classic Tube radios coming up. Will your favorite manufacturer be heard tonight? You'll have to stay tuned. SWL 54, the top of page 3, the cosmic check-in for Mr. Boardjammer, who knew a thing or two about keeping these old radios on the air. Let's try SWL 55.
55, checking in.
Wow. I always have to look. Like, is he mobile? Going down Blackstone Avenue? No, I think you're in your right position there, and you're sounding good.
I'm right in your car, Dennis.
Yeah, it sounds like it, man. Almost 20 over on the S meter tonight.
Thank you, Dennis. You sound great, too.
Okay. Anonymous. Actually, it's anonymous. I'm anonymous, but great. I can't I can't take all the credit. Let's try SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
All right, 56 is in. Thank you, Phil. Let's go over to SWL 57. And Brown Dog Audio is in South Central Kentucky. Worldwide sideband 1942. I'll have to see. What was the popular song for 1942? I can't play it here. It's probably some copyright problem. And all right, he is available for the remote assistant associate video side producer if needed. Yeah. Well, we used to do that when sometimes we'd have 3 net controllers here. It would be Rob and myself and Jim, or Kevin and Jim and myself, and you can have somebody take the OTR page and somebody take the SWL page and somebody key the microphonium or go out in the remote mic. So it's all fun. It's all good. As long as we can check in some radios, that's what we like. Speaking of checking in radios, this station checked in quite a few Wednesday evening on the Ditch Band sideband net, SWL 58.
58 checking in. You're sounding good out here in Biola tonight, Dennis. And we had 24 check-ins last night. Pretty good evening. Not a lot of noise, so that went real well. Appreciate the net, Dennis. Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, I think I'm managing to do audio and video at the same time. We will see when it is all over. As you know, when you're running the net, it's sort of hard to take a look at everything. You just have to rely on somebody saying, "Hey, hey, what's up with that? How come this isn't happening?" But that radio is sounding very good. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis.
It almost, I'm chuckling because it has a very, how do I say this? A very peculiar key up sequence there. Even better than putting the bobby pin into the D104. You crafty guy, you. Okay, let's try SWL 59. SWL 60.
Thank you, Dennis. SWL 60 checking in the 291 base, the DX 2527.
2527, looking good. 291, smiling and saying, "Yep, it's still sounding like it did 25 years ago," and I agree. You got you checked in.
Thank you, Dennis.
Let's try Dino, SWL 61.
51 checking in, Dennis.
Always sounding good into Midtown Fresno. 61 is checked in.
Thank you, sir.
Let's check in with beautiful downtown Clovis tonight, SWL 62.
Anytime, Dennis. This is 62 checking in from downtown Clovis.
Okay, and I'll fill it in on time and on frequency. We can definitely say that tonight. Thanks for checking in.
Thank
All right, and at 111, did the street lights come on? Something happened. He said the noise level just went past S9. So somebody's bug zapper or LED porch light just tuned on. I heard you earlier. In fact, you were on the pre-audio stream sounding quite nice. So I'll definitely make sure to get you checked in, Robert, and hope you are recuperating from the operation there. Sounds like you're, up and at 'em and doing what you should do. So that's a good thing. Let's try SWL 63. That's BB in New York. All our New York stations. There's a few that stay up late and listen to the guys on the West Coast trying to do the AM thing. SWL 64. SWL 65.
SWL 65 checking in.
65 sounding good. I think somebody was calling for you earlier just before the net, but we've got you checked in.
Thank you, Dennis. You are running the radio side of the net. Fantastic, and have a good evening.
All right. Well, you do this long enough, you get good enough to know that you can be better. You know how it is. Thanks for checking in. And hello to Mark from Kentucky. Says watches the net every Saturday. As do I. I can't wait for those radios to check in, and they will be doing that if I can sneak my way through the roll call here. Let's see if Mr. Witch Doctor's in SWL 66. SWL 67, I indeed, somewhere in the, he's moving up towards the front. I did see Canby, Oregon. He must have went out to Studio B, checked in with the Jingle Singers. In fact, I got to see what the Bob and Steve show is doing, what they've done for the Jingle Singers tonight, because a lot of people I notice are wandering over there and picking up something. So there must be something good going on in the alternate studio tonight. Thanks for checking in, Bill. SWL 68. SWL 69. And I do believe I saw Kenny listening in, watching it tonight from earlier, maybe still, from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's right up there, right next to Canby, Oregon, on the list tonight. Good deal. We miss you here in the Central Valley, but thanks for taking some time. I know it's late. It's late out there. Thanks for staying up late and saying hello to us. I think I heard this guy on sideband, upper and lower this week, SWL 70.
Hello, Dennis. How you doing, man? We are right here and doing well. Hope you are too. Back to net control.
All right, our radios get a workout. We've got the Wednesday night sideband net on 10 meters, 28,445 on upper sideband, so you can work your upper sideband. Then on Friday nights, we've got the Ditch Banks sideband net on channel 36, 27,365 lower sideband, so you get to flip the switch the other way and check out your lower sideband. And then we've got the Old Tube Radio Network on Saturday night, so you can check out that glorious AM, the AM mode of operation. I guess the only thing we don't have is FM. We'll work on that. Thanks, Mark, for checking in. Let's go over to SWL 71 and Stan. I might need to refresh my page over on this side of the bench and see if Stan has checked in yet. I don't see him. I don't see Mr. Announcer, but I bet he'll be in there shortly. SWL 72. That's Eric. Another Eric, SWL 73. SWL 74 checked in earlier, getting both herself and 25 checked in. Thanks, Miss Jilly, for your check-in. then that goes to SWL 75. And a station I heard earlier, I wonder if he's still at the microphonium, SWL 77.
Yeah, we're still here. Blowing the dust off and, hoping the audio's okay. 77 on the old Tower of Power, waving hand out of the Tower District and checking in.
Sounding good. Audio's great. Pushing the S meter up to about 20 over. X in the square. We've got some weight on the 77 area now. It was a little bit light, as you know, but it's looking good now.
Well, we appreciate that, and thanks for hanging in there.
Absolutely. That's if I guess if we can figure out how to do this since the middle of the 1980s, what's a couple of weeks, right?
There you go.
The Old Tube Radio Network. My name is Dennis. Trying to get through the roll call here, but I want to say hello to everybody. Again, you don't need to have any numbers. You don't have to be on any list. Stop by, say hi, tell us what radios, if you can't talk with us, tell us what great radios you've been on this week, talk and skip or local. And then, of course, our tube radio operators who are warming up the sets will be checking in here shortly. Let's see if SWL 78 is in. Richard from Washington. And SWL 79. SWL 80. And I wanted to check in. We were turning the page 4. Take a pause here. Over to the Bob and Steve show out of Ohio. Thanks to those guys, and all the things they do over in Studio B for the Jingle Singers. I've had to sort of clean up my act here with the official OTR Net Control shirt and the seersucker suit. Jingle Singers got a new refrigerator at Costco. Okay, I wondered. I was looking at the power meter, and I noticed it seemed to not be drawing as much power. I thought maybe my radio wasn't putting out 4 watts, but I guess they got something a little more energy efficient. Got a goodbye on the OTR card. Yeah. Goodbye to that goodbye. Well, you know what? And they're smart because the bills come in right around the 20th. And so they know that I'm not going to see that charge probably for another couple of weeks. Double wide with ice and water on the side. No wonder everybody's running down there. I keep seeing all the names change with people jumping on the balcony. So there must be a lot of stuff in that refrigerator. And make sure you don't leave the door open, right? Make sure you close the door. Bob said if you would like, he would run a water line in here so you could have cold water. You know, that would be nice because I have to reach way over here. And guess what? I have to drink my Costco water. So at least I could drink the water out of a Costco refrigerator. Or would I like a wine line? There's a lot of things to be said about the wine line. I think I have one of those over here. Bozo Control is our wine line. You should hear him whine when things don't go right. And the Jingle Singers have got 20 new flags from Monday's parade, the Memorial Day parade. Good. Always glad to help out in that. Thank you, Bob and Steve, keeping things going in the green room and keeping OTR in the red, as it were. Page 4, here we go, SWL 81. From the Ditch Banks, SWL 82.
From the Ditch Banks of Iowa, 82 checking in and waving a hand to Rob, N0RU, out of Colorado, I believe.
I do believe Rob U is listening in tonight. waiting for the band to open so you can make the true contact. So I don't have the nice display like Jeremy does on the Ditch Banks. If you tune into the Ditch Banks net on Friday evenings and go to the YouTube when Bones, when 82, when Ron keys up on the picture display, it's like flower power. You know, it's like it's 1967 again, and the whole screen just turns this psychedelic red and blue and green and orange when he keys down the microphonium. So be sure that it's worth tuning in on Friday evenings just for that. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, Dennis. Yeah, I'm just a little bit too close to him, I guess. I probably shoot his antenna with the old wrist rocket. All right, thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, and just like that, we're being heard in Reedley again. Let's try SWL 84. And I'll get all the gang checked in. I bet Jerry might be listening in tonight. SWL 85. And we'll get the trio here, 86, 87, and 88 checked in with 84. So that takes care of the Cheerios Kid and Mountain Maid Tandy Girl and the Snowy Owl. Good deal. Let's try SWL 89. SWL 90. SWL 92. SWL 93. I didn't hear Louis. Sometimes he gets in early tonight. SWL 98.
Let's check in, Dennis.
544, Fresno Dave. We've got you checked in. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
And then Cheesy Easy, SWL 103. And a Proxy and Jeff from Facebook check in. Up to Albury for SWL 109. SWL 110. All right, let's give it a try if the noise is doing its thing or not doing its thing from Reedley, SWL 111. Oh, maybe the noise came back, but I did hear Robert in before the noise started happening.
Break OTR?
The break OTR, go ahead, over.
SWL 40, checking in.
Okay, gotcha. I was hoping that you didn't have to wait for the noise from the overhead helicopter to calm down so you could key up, but you are sounding good.
Yes, and it's good to be here, and somebody hacked into my Wi-Fi and changed all my passwords, so I've got some cleaning up to do here.
Oh, no. All right, well, that's not a good thing. Well, hopefully you are able to do that, get everything shored up, and then be back with us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. We'll be listening. You always check up and make sure things are working, because we will be on for a while. Almost ready for the Tube Radio, so keep them warmed up. We called 111. He was listening, but didn't hear anything from Reedley. How about SWL 113? SWL 114.
114, checking in.
SWL 114. Hello, Wayne. We've got you checked in. Thanks.
Thank you.
Takes us to SWL 128. I'm going to scroll up or down the page. I don't know if I'm scrolling up or down, but I thought I did see 128. Yes. Checking in. So weird to see light through the window. I noticed that when I was tuning things up, it was actually shining in onto the screen in front of me and then making a reflection. And I thought, well, I could close the things up, but I kind of like the flora and fauna behind me. But we are still, what is it, at the 23rd, so we've got almost another month to go before we equinox yet again. So we'll be having light. That's also a sign that when cycle 25 starts happening, we will probably be having heavy-duty skip until the sun goes down. So it's amazing how that works. It's amazing how the Earth, how the sun rotates around the Earth and does that. I think that's how it works. As long as we don't fall off the edge somewhere. Thanks, John, for checking in. Let's try SWL 131. Who is the break for OTR? Over. All right, well, I don't know. It seems like a myriad of issues there, huh? But if it's not QRM, then it's something else. I hear you just fine. Over. All right, hey, that's the extra effort. And Robert's actually recuperating, but he's one of those guys. He will get up at dark 30 a.m. to jump in the public service wagon and grab the amateur radio stuff and make sure that everybody's safe and sound. And he won't give up. If he's out there listening and things are working, he will make sure that the radio is going to make it in. So you've come through again, Robert. Thanks. Let's see. We were going to call. Let's call 130, Mr. Root, SWL 131. SWL 133. Well, I have not heard Dave in a while. I hope I am just not missing him due to antenna issues. Anybody hears him out there, definitely give me a relay, a 10-5, as we say. Let's try SWL 135.
SWL 135 checking in.
135 checking in. Mr. Green Arrow, you are sounding good, and I have a feeling that we might be putting you in on the radio list as well coming up shortly. And jumping in the studios, right underneath my footlights there, Jimmy Fielder checking in, Railroader. I have been taking some great trips, some great rides on the steam locomotives, thanks to Jimmy's posts here in the last couple of weeks. Some neat stuff you just don't realize. How massive and how intense things happen when you add a little steam. It's pretty cool. So thanks for the videos. I do enjoy those. I wonder if any. I guess I could Google that. If they allowed either amateur radio or CB radio on the train somewhere. I would imagine you could go on Amtrak. I've talked to people on Amtrak who take their HTs. We have an Amtrak line that runs here from Central Valley out to the Bay Area, San Francisco. And I've talked to some people back when I had my antennas up in the air on Amtrak on their handy talkies, catching the repeaters and things like that. So I don't know. Maybe there are some tales of woe of somebody trying to work 40 meters from the caboose. I don't know. Let's go over to SWL 137. SWL 145.
Hello, audio. Good evening, time Dennis. 145 checking in.
145, Tony in Corsico. I'll tell you one thing. You have the AM side of that radio always seems to come up quite well. I know when it's on the sideband, sometimes it'll stall out a little bit, but you're fine and dandy on AM. Over.
Copy that. Thank you, Dennis. Have a good rest of the weekend, everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting weekend. A lot of activity. A lot of people getting out and about. I noticed that today. A big change from the last couple of weeks for sure. Radio's coming up, the glow-in-the-dark radio, so don't go away. SWL 147, Mr. Neil and the gang in Kakalaki. I'm pretty sure I saw him on one of my screens. I will find it somewhere and find out what the scoop is up in Kakalaki tonight. SWL, let's go up to Course Gold. SWL 195.
195, checking in. Going back, links coming up.
What is going up? I missed that. Over. Yeah, I missed what you said. You said something was going up. Maybe stock prices. Okay, there's Neil's YouTube site again from Kakalaki. I knew I saw you somewhere. Starting to feel like summer in Carolina. It's definitely feeling like summer. They are predicting by the middle of next week. That's 4 days. 109. I think I saw 111 on one of the charts. But I don't believe any weather that's 24 hours in advance. But it's definitely not going to be 82 or 83 degrees like it was today. Getting humid, just the opposite here. A couple of good propagation days this week, definitely. And 73 from, he's a KG6. He's a 6 call, by the way. So he knows the Central Valley 6 land from the Carolina Sandhills. Thanks, Neil, for checking in. We also got Jim up in Course Gold, and then SWL 226, who checked in, I can't remember if it was on Facebook, but whoever, Jeff was out there, SWL 226.
This is Claudia. Second.
All right, and Jeff, if you're out there, we'll get you checked in. I'll look for your items of interest. And going up the page, let's check in SWL 109 from the big town of Auberry. Hello, Crawdad, over.
Good evening, Dennis.
And good evening from the big town of Auberry with the big signal, Mr. Crawdad at the microphonium tonight on the the SWLs on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thank you for checking in.
You're welcome, Dennis.
I'm late.
And okay, well, no, I have a category for that. Let me put it up here. There we go. You are officially in the late check-ins. Go ahead on page 2, I bet.
Yes, on number 37.
All right, 37. We've got you checked in. Well, we placed the late check-in with the real check-in, and thanks. I hope you didn't have to double park to run in and check in from the radio room tonight.
No, just that you're a turnaround in.
All right, that was a long swivel. It took about 45 minutes, but you got there.
Yes, I know. I was in there with Head Company, and I was watching a show on TV, and we finished that up, and I figured I'd get in here, take my medicine, or have them come here and check in.
All right, checking in is good. All right, I'm going to check in. I'm going to check out for just a second, set up for the tube radios, and then we will have... we will do what we do best on the Old Tube Radio Network, and that is talk about, listen for, and check in the tube radios, amongst other things. So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Oh, yeah. Quickie.
This is the Quickie frequency. Go ahead.
50 checking in. Better late than never.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. I just happened to be on page 2 for another check-in, so let me just saunter down into the next block here, and we will put SWL 50 in the yes. We have a check-in tonight. Thank you, Mark. And as always, as long as we are on the air, as long as you see the glowing 6L6 on your Universal Media Net web device, we should be able to take your check-ins. OTR will be back in a moment as we prepare for those tube radio check-ins.
45.
Hey, and there's 45. You know, another page 2. Did I do something? Did I not check in page 2 tonight? Hello, Paul.
Yeah, can you hear me? At 45, the noise up here is tremendously bad.
You know, you are not the only one complaining of tremendously bad noise tonight. Hello, Paul, 45. If you can hear me, 45 is checked in over.
Yeah, I hear you. I hope you can hear me. It's getting a little better, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. Thanks, Dennis.
All right, yeah, you sound great. I thought I might have heard or saw you listening in on the audio stream, where typically there is not noise, or if there is noise, it's from me doing something or the jingle singers or all the calamity that happens over in the green room next to that beautiful Costco refrigerator. I wonder if they won that on one of those game shows. There's probably going to be a washer and dryer showing up next week. Back in a moment with your tube radios. Yeah, the cough button's not working. All right, gang, here we go. And you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Whoa.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
I need to oil the microphone boom here. It makes 125% modulation when I swing that around. All right, thanks to Stan Freeberg and the gang. I got some breakup on the REA meter tonight. Is it only when I'm talking? It's only when the meters are moving. That's it. I must have a little too much enhancement or something. I will endeavor to fix that. Here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark. My name is Dennis, your net control operator for the evening. And we are here in Central California, Channel 11, that's 27085, where for a long, long time we have been hanging out on this frequency and encouraging our friends, our collectors, to fire up, to plug in and tune in, but don't drop out. Key up, to turn in, tune on, and key up They're tube radios, the classic radios from 1958 to 1978. You probably are familiar with some of them, and hopefully tonight, when we are done, you will be acquainted with even more. So OTR is standing by and listening for those tube radio check-ins.
135, 135.
25.
All right, we've got 135. Cliff, step up in the air chair. We will be right with you. Hello, Jerry. There is all sorts of good stuff happening in the green room, so you know the way to get there. We'll pick you up for Radio 2. Is there another station wanting to get checked in?
45.
And 45. Paul, you're sounding good. I hope you can hear me. You'll be able to get a chance to tune everything in, as you will be radio number 3 tonight, so we'll be with you in just a moment. So stepping up into the air chair, and I'm signing myself into the tube radio check-in list here for it's 2020, for May 23rd of 2020. Hello, Cliff.
Hello, Dennis.
All right, what happened? What happened to the 20th century?
I don't know, but this is the future. We're in the 21st century now. That's what I'm thinking. All right. Well, tell me about your 20th century radio that has made it into the 21st century, sounding quite nice, even though I don't know what it is. Well, I'll tell you what it is. This is SWL 135, and the radio here is from Miami, Florida. It's the Pierce Simpson Guardian 23.
Pierce Simpson. I saw a post from somebody that scored one of the earlier Pierce Simpson models, and I did not. Maybe I knew that, but I forgot. I did not know they were out of Florida. We usually have a Florida station listening, but I don't think I saw any Florida stations tonight. There's a picture of the Pierce Simpson, and it says it is courtesy of yours truly. Of yours truly. So that might actually be, and it's showing 2 microphoniums, so we might have to get an explanation here. Take a transmission.
Yes, courtesy of me. That's the Pierce Simpson Guardian 23. The sticker on the back says Miami, Florida, so I'm assuming that's where it's from. MFD, manufactured in Miami, Florida. 11 tubes, all 23 channels, crystal controlled, no waiting. Has a push-pull knob on the tone that gives you the automatic noise limiter. The microphone I'm using is the handheld one, if you're looking at the picture. It says Pierce Simpson on the front. On the back, it says Euphonics. That's Euphonics with an E, Charlie-47. So it's a Euphonics C-47. Dark gray plastic, unamplified handheld type microphone.
Good audio for the unamplified handheld type microphone. I don't hear all sorts of room noise and echoing things. It's definitely good communication quality. I'm also looking at that desk mic, which we will probably talk about. I was trying to read if it actually said Pierce Simpson on there, which it might. And I have one of these. I have a Pierce Simpson Guardian 23, which I've used for net control before, and I totally forgot it had. Does it have an RF gain? It's got some interesting knobs. I forgot about the pull-out, or maybe I never knew that it had the pull-out A&L. I'll have to go up to wherever it's, hold on a second. All right, my foot switch is sliding away, and this should be better. I'll have to go and see if I actually have a push-pull knob on that. I totally forgot. I do like the styling on this radio. Pierce Simpson is one of my favorite radios for sort of a mid-century modern Frank Lloyd-esque styling that they did. Yours looks to be unmodified. Mine has mine's got a switch down in one of the little sectioned off areas by the microphone. It looks like yours is the way it should be. And it has the world's, when we check in the trams, we have the world's largest S meter. I think this radio has the world's smallest S meter. Over.
Yeah, I was just going to say that when you start mentioning world's largest. Yeah, this is the world's smallest S meter. It is very difficult to see. It is slightly illuminated by the channel light. But that's it's the size of it that really makes it difficult to see.
Well, placement is everything with those radios. If you have it on a typical shelf where you're sitting and looking down, not too good. If you elevate it a couple of stacks so you're looking up at it, it's a little bit easier. But I know what they were trying to do is kind of match it with the neon modulation lights and some other things. So it fell prey to design. The design team didn't talk to the engineering team. 1964 is when this radio first hit the market. The original price, just under $300. So this was their top of the line, and this $300 for 1964 was a top of the line price typically. But you are getting all 23 channels, S meter, and lots of controls. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, this also had dual conversion on the receiver and a new Vista. It had a lot of interesting features that bespoke of its price point.
Oh yeah, and it can be bass or mobile. It's got an external speaker jack in the back. It's really got. It's a very reliable radio. So what more do you want? Yeah, and all the channels. Oh, you asked about the microphone. Yeah, I found that desk microphone and the spacebar push-to-talk business there does say Pierce Simpson on it, but it doesn't sound all that good. It's unpowered. It's not a powered microphone, and it just doesn't seem to have enough. So I always default to the handheld mic. It sounds better.
Sounds fine. In fact, I had the Orban loudness meter up, so if you watch the playback, you could see where you are on the LKFS meter, and we're actually putting in a pretty decent loudness, and the quality is good. It's not overly bright or muffled. It works quite well for our closeness on signal wise. Also, I'm getting a close up of the other microphone. It's a cool looking mic. I mean, it's the standard Broder Crawford desk mic. Too bad it doesn't work a little bit better. And I don't think, if I remember correctly, and I'm looking at the controls, that had any type of a range boost or audio boost circuitry built into the radio.
No, that's one thing this definitely doesn't have. No range boost. And like I say, the desk mic there is non-amplified, and it's kind of cool to have, but this one works better.
Yeah, sounding good. And I just switched the picture here for those that are old to radio.net or watching the video. As I mentioned earlier, the Guardian 23 was their top-of-the-line radio out of this series of 3 for 1964. Maybe you have had one of these. It's the Companion 2 for $189.50, the Escort, which was their middle-of-the-line for $229.95, and then the one we are listening to now that Cliff is modulating, the Guardian 23, with heterosync circuitry for outstanding stability and maximum protection against spurious signals. So hopefully none of those nasty spurious signals are happening there tonight, and there is the Miami, Florida locator under the Pierce Simpson Incorporated. See your PS dealer. And it says, please send me full details of the new, they had an S meter and a remote speaker. So I guess if you bought one of the radios that didn't have an S meter, you could buy an S meter. So Pierce Simpson, 2295 Northwest 14th Street, Miami, Florida, 33125. All right, back to you for transmission. It's sounding great. Thanks for getting us started off tonight.
Oh, yeah, and incidentally, I've always thought, when you pull the tone knob out, I think that turns off the automatic noise limiter, but it makes the receive audio nicer, I think. You know, there's more lows and stuff in it. It gets kind of pinched with the ANL, you know, pushed in. Yeah, try it sometime with yours. Okay, well, thanks for letting me check it in. That's it for this week. We'll see you next time.
Indeed. I think I noticed the same thing with, was it the Mark III receiver? It's similar to that. You can pull a knob or something, and it does change. You get your noise blanket, but it changes the quality of everything. Radio number 1 getting us started off at 9:06. That was a good transmission. I always get carried away, but that's a good thing. You know, on these tube radios, the Pierce Simpson Guardian 23. Checking my notes. Jumping up from behind the Costco 29-inch cubic foot refrigerator and heading up into the air chair. Hello, Jerry, over.
Hello, Dennis. 25 checking in on the General Radio Telephone MC5 from downtown beautiful Burbank, California. Over.
Okay, it didn't take us long to fly from Miami, downtown Miami, to beautiful downtown Burbank. The General Radio Telephone MC5. Let me swap the current photo that we have for an MC5. The one we're showing here is like the Pierce Simpson showing the stock microphonium, but I have a feeling you might not be using the stock microphonium on that. Over.
No, actually, turned out we got a Turner Plus 3B powered mic on it, and it's the only thing that we had handy that we could wire up for it. So hopefully it's not overdriving it. I know these radios probably don't need a powered mic, so I got it turned way down. But anyway, back to you, Dennis.
No, I don't think it is. The audio it's good. It's a little restricted on the low ends. Take another transmission. I will bring up the like I did on our last set. I'll bring up the Orban loudness meter, and we'll see what it thinks of a little dose of loudness. Over to you.
Yeah, okay, Dennis. I'm about 6 inches away from the mic. Anyway, cool little radio, meters in the middle. It's got a little secret tone signal alert button in the middle, and right below that, the picture shows that is a jack where you can put in your secret crystal or your secret, double secret frequencies, whatever you wanted to use it. Anyway, cool little radio, and we finally got it back on the air with some help with some good friends. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
Yeah, showing the close-up now, and just between the two knobs is the external socket. This is early 60s. That was not unusual to have the external crystal socket where you might have a little sliding parts box of your favorite channels that you could pop in there. Of course, it had the VFO where you could tune in on the receive any channel you wanted, and then you've got your selections for your transmit channels. But it made changing channels, QSYing, I guess, pretty easy if you wanted to go to the special X channel. And maybe it also worked for if you were doing Civil Air Patrol or something like that, where you had a crystal that was in range of your transmitter, where it was tuned up, that would work as well. All right, before we let you go, as we always request here on All Request Old Tube Radio, radio number 2, the General Radio Telephone MC5, we will be addressing the switch below the S meter that says tone signal. There are fans, there are fans across the nation that wait for this every week. For those Q-Bird fans, for those bird watchers, let's see if we can't find a Q-Bird tonight. Over.
All right, Dennis. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out transmitting and then hit the tone signal or transmit at the same time,
and it works nice. The General Radio Telephone MC5, originally out in 1962, a big seller for them in 1963. The original price just under $200, and the last General Radio Telephone with the tone signal replaced by what they called the bullhorn Thanks to the FCC putting the kibosh on that. Thanks, Jerry, for bringing it by. All right, radio number 3. Let's keep the radios going tonight. I saw the jingle singers walking up to the microphone, but I want to get one more radio in here. So Paul, who is listening in from the foothills above Fresno, is going to be stepping up into the air chair at, I'm showing 9:20 or somewhere in that. Can you hear me, Paul? Over.
Yeah, hey, Gary. I just checked it in. My General Lee cell phone, MC6, has put it set ahead Jerry's here.
Okay, well, I'll just go up one in my Rolodex file, see if I can find an MC6, which I think I can. That last transmission, I didn't hear it on your prior transmissions, was having a little bit of oscillation in the microphonium. There's the radio, and it says it's from your collection. Don't know if it's the exact one, but we'll go back to you as we take a look at the radio.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's missing one thing. It doesn't have the tone control thing like Jerry had on his. Yeah, the FCC told him to take it out because it made too much noise. You can kind of tell by Jerry's, it is a little bit noisy, but I like it. Anyway, this one didn't have it. They replaced it with a bullhorn control and thing, and that was one of the deals. They did a few other things too. I'll get back to you later on.
All right. Yeah, there's some oscillation. I don't know what. Don't go away. I'm going to ask you what microphone you're using. If it's amplified, might need a little less amplification, or there's some other things happening. I can hear you just fine. There is where once there was the tone signal, you can see the bullhorn titled under the switch that was on the MC5. I'm checking to see if there was any difference. Now, what's interesting about this took over for the MC5 in 1964. Remember the the MC5 rather, was from 1962 and all of 1963. 64, the MC6 came out. It started at the same price at $199.95, and then in 1965 they dropped. Does anybody ever drop the price? They dropped the price $40, which was a quite significant price drop to $160. This would have been a good deal. It was a good deal. 8 tubes. And I'm just trying to think if they changed much of anything. That might have been the only thing that they changed was the bullhorn on that. I'll pop up the Orban loudness meter. Take another transmission, and let's see if it's still going to have the oscillation in there. Over.
Okay. Well, they had a mic plug change and a different modulator in this one. Rather, the type was different. This radio would only accept the carbon microphone. I'm using a stock General VSM carbon microphone. You see it sounds like I'm amplified?
Well, it's got plenty of audio. I mean, your loudness is up there. But at the same time, you're getting some oscillation in the microphone. Sometimes that can be indicative of a bad match, or I don't know if it's a grounding issue. If you would listen to the playback, you will hear it. It's loud, but it is not interfering so much that I can't understand your audio. But I'm just without an amplified microphone, I'm not sure what might be causing that.
Yeah, well, it's not an amplified, of course. It's just a regular carbon mic that came with the radio. I might, if I listen to it and don't like it, I'll probably change mics on it. I don't have one real handy, but I'll change it right now. But as long as y'all hear me, that's the main thing. I can hear you. Tonight I was kind of worried I wouldn't be able to hear you at all. More the noise level was terrible up there. Still not real good, but it's better. Thank you, Dennis.
Okay, if I was to guess, and I'm not a tech guy like a lot of the stations out here or a lot of our listeners, it's almost as though the radio itself is adjusted for too much gain, because for a stock microphone and a carbon microphone, you are giving us one of the higher readings in the loudness meter, and I would think you'd be down like at -17 or something like that with a stock microphone, more like what we heard with Cliff on the Pierce Simpson. So maybe it's just adjusted for a little bit too much gain out of the radio, and it's oscillating that way. Because and I would say, if you did not tell me, I would guess that you were running an amplified microphone. So that is interesting in itself. Radio number 3, the General Radio Telephone MC6, the radio that followed the MC5 in 1964, and it was a bargain back in the day. Thanks for bringing it by.
Yeah, thank you for checking it in. I don't think I could put an amplified mic on this thing. They're not designed for it. It might work. I don't know. I never tried it. It really sounded amazing. I kind of like this old carbon mic. And like Jim used to say, SW, take it bang it a little bit. Bang it on your knee or something. You loosen up the grains inside it. Thanks for checking it in, Dennis. 37.
All right. Well, you certainly don't need a preamp or on the microphone. If anything, you'd have to turn it way, way, way down. So that has the audio similar to the Super MC11A, where you can't believe it's stock audio. But the radio, I think, is not quite 100% happy with that. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks, Paul. Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark. This is a net, if you will, a program, if you will, that happens each week here in Central California, locally over Channel 11, 27085. And for the past few years or so, we have been streaming live at oldtuberadio.net and also added a video portion up on YouTube so that we can give you a sort of a bird's eye view of these radios, in addition to maybe imparting some information and also gleaning information from those of you who check in with your comments. Always glad when we have someone that knows about the radios that can help us out with questions that we have. And speaking of what we have is another radio number 4. And I think I hear Christopher at the microphonium. Over.
Yes, it is I.
All right, I've logged you in as radio number 4, so tell me what you've got, and I'll put you down here at 926.
I got a radio.
Is it glowing in the dark?
Yeah, it glows in the dark. I want to check in my General Radio Telephone. The Super MC11A, 24-channel tuber. It glows. You know, the little man in the wheelchair up there looking back at me. I don't know if he's looking at me or not. But anyway, and we are registered with a stock microphone. Over.
All right, somebody who was unawares might think that we are stacking the deck tonight with General Radio telephones. It just, sometimes that happens where we get one manufacturer that just seems to be popular. It certainly is General Radio Telephone tonight. It started off with Miami, Florida, and we're back here again in Burbank, California with the General Radio Telephone. Let's skip ahead a few years. 1962 for the MC5, 63, 64, the MC6, and then a few more years, and we get to the Super MC series, starting with the Super MC8, the MC9, the MC11, and then what Chris is talking on, the Super MC11A. And we were talking about amplified microphones and not amplified microphones. And believe it or not, even though your ears may tell you different, this is the stock audio out of this radio. Go ahead, Chris.
Yes, that it is. It did definitely stock. You've been here, seen it before, so you know exactly what it is. So there's no doubt about my mind that you got it right.
Yeah, helped out by a few years of design improvements from the gang at General Radio Telephone. I think the MC5 and 6 were 8-tube radios. The Super MC11A is a 9-tube radio, and the output tube was replaced probably a few models back with the ECLL 800. I'm not even sure where you get those or how much they would cost to put one in today. Also 12AX7 in the audio. Shows it's got 2 transistors, probably for some DC to DC conversion. There's the close-up, another great picture from Cliff's collection. Does not have the Q-Bird, does not have the bullhorn, but looks like it's got the Delta Tune control underneath the S-meter. It sounds great. I hope I'm coming in as well as I hear you.
Well, I hope so too, but you're sounding pretty darn good over here.
All right, great. And we'll switch over to the Orban loudness meter. Go ahead and take a transmission, and we'll see if you can bring that up to, I think last week you got it above minus 14, so take a transmission.
Okay. Well, I don't know if we get it any higher than 14 or not. Is it supposed to be higher or lower? What is it?
Well, number one, the audio is supposed to be intelligible, as Mr. Heil would say, it's intelligibility. It shouldn't be distorted. If we were looking on a scope, it should have nice positive peaks and no clipped negative peaks. It should be loud if it's supposed to be loud, not a lot of background noise. And this has all of that. Plus, it has a loudness coefficient that does push it up past minus 14. The numbers are relative. I've got things adjusted so that if you're somewhere between probably minus 19 and minus 15 and 14, you're in a generally acceptable range of loudness. Now, you have definitely pushed the envelope a little bit with that radio, but that's a good thing.
Okay, well, it's a stalker.
And that's what we have come to expect from the General Radio Telephone Line. Thanks for Radio 4, the Super MC11A. There was one more radio after that, the MC12, which I don't think got an FCC type acceptance. So this is probably the last one out of their kitchen table engineering that the FCC really did like. Give us another transmission. Thanks for bringing it by.
Okay, Dennis, thank you very much for being there. We're back out and being quiet right now.
And I think it is time. I think the jingle singers here at the bottom of the hour are ready to tell us about that great place to be on a Saturday night known as the Old Tube Radio Network. Your favorite place to be.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite slot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
I'm noticing, let me see if I can fix that. What I'm getting, when the meters are wobbling, there's a strange things happening on the scope. There we go. I think I've fixed it there. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, and we are waiting for radio number 5.
47, 45.
All right, we've got Michael. You will be radio 5. Step up into the air chair. And then I heard Paul, Mr. Falcon out of North Fork. Paul, you will be radio number 6 after Mike. And let's see, was there another station?
60.
And 60. Hello, Joe. You will be radio number 7 tonight on the list. So jump over in the green room, grab some refreshments, and we'll be right with you as we listen for radio number 5, and that is, where are we going? Over to Northwest Fresno for SWL 47. Hello, radio.
Well, I don't know if you want to say Northwest Fresno, because I'm actually just now leaving the parking lot of one of my favorite hangouts, Fresno Ag Hardware.
Yes, the Fresno Ag, one of my favorite hangouts, and this is the new Fresno Ag Hardware after their prior location of 40 years. It was probably a mile east of that, no, mile west of that, and it sounded good. Are you telling me that you are indeed a mobile tube radio?
I am, yes, affirmative. So for the very, very, very first time, actually moving, I should say, I'd like to check in my Robin T123. I'm actually moving around. I know I've used this radio on the road several other times. However, since I was using such a long antenna, you weren't going to be doing that while you were driving around. I dug into the mystery bag of antennas earlier this evening, and some of those suckers I knew exactly what bands they were for. The one I'm using right now, I'm embarrassed to say, I had no clue what it was for. So I hooked it up to this radio. I don't think it was very happy. It was kind of mismatched a little bit, so I dug in and got my my LDG auto tuner. Kind of hooked that up, and bingo! It's happy. I hope the radio's not making any crackling noises. I don't smell any smoke. So I'm like super curious as to what kind of signal I'm putting out right now.
It has really, really good audio. Is that the plain model 123 or the B? Over. You told me and I didn't write it down right.
This is the 123. It is not the Bravo. This is the one with the Magic Eye tube, which I can't look at right now because I'm driving around and it's like it's pretty nerve-wracking. I'm trying not to get a driving while distracted ticket, although that might be kind of funny to have a cop pull you over and have to explain that well, you're just talking on your CB radio. I got to say, it's really, really, really fun. I was just cruising down Blackstone. It was like the 1970s all over again. Cruising down Blackstone, listening to a tube radio. It was awesome. Let me tell you, the Wiener Schnitzel, man, that drive-through line is real long.
All the lines today were real long anywhere. People are kind of breaking out and doing things like yourself in the mobile with the Johnson with the Robin T123B, putting in a really great signal. The audio is superb. I hope you get a chance to listen to the video. I'm keeping the S meter up so that you can see your 10 over, 15 over signal, but the audio is so good. However you're doing the microphone and the distancing, there's a little road noise which adds to the aura of the mobile radio. Doing a good job. Over.
Well, that's funny that you can pick that up. First of all, you're probably hearing it because I got my the amplified D104 mic I'm using. I got to say, I have to look really awesome with this old microphone. Boy, you just feel like the king of the road. Obviously, I'm joking. Yeah, you are picking up some other noises, some road noise, because I do have the antenna coax going out the sunroof right now, and I put the power line directly. I hooked it up to the battery, so I got some alligator clips on the battery. The power line is going across the windshield, held down with the windshield wipers, and fed through the open window. So how's that for completely jury rigging something?
That is old tube radio mobile styling. Should have that picture. Probably if we ever make an old tube radio calendar, that should go in for the month of May with the top open and the wires coming out and the windshield wipers holding things and you trying to look as though nothing. No, officer, there's nothing to see here.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I'm sorry, I'm being distracted by everything. Motel 6 on Ashland and Blackstone, they have a thing that says kids stay for free and pets stay for free, too. So there it is. I got to say, this is just absolutely wonderful driving around. I wish you could kind of see what's going on here. Maybe we'll do some sort of video streaming some other time. But anyways, thanks for letting me check it in for the very first time while I'm moving. This is just absolutely spectacular. Crossing Blackstone and, what is this? Blackstone and Gettysburg. Right now, yeah, Wiener Schnitzel still going pretty strong. And, oh my, Paradise Liquor. Yeah, they got a line going out the door. This is amazing.
And this is a real apropos spot for those who are not familiar with Fresno. Let me go to the picture of the radio. This is what's in his mobile. This is you can kind of compare the. Oh, okay. And Harvey has a question for you. What was the question about the antenna, Harvey? Over.
Ask him what kind of antenna.
Okay, yeah, you probably told us, but Harvey, when you come back on the next transmission, Mike, Harvey wants to know what antenna you are using. I just wanted to show the full screen radio, so he's got this mounted somewhere in the vehicle so that it's safe along with him. He's also going down a spot. Blackstone Avenue is like your anytown big city. When we start the city, this is the big 2-lane or the 3-lane or the double-lane highway, if you will, where everything happens, where all the big businesses start. And in the particular area that he's driving down, he's talking about the Wiener Schnitzel. It's a very mid-century modern portion of Blackstone Avenue. And so in the late 50s and the 1960s, a lot of these places and buildings that he was driving by were actually being built. So it's a perfect area to have an old tube radio transmission, as these radios were brand new back in the day. Take another transmission if you're still within range, and I think you are, and let us know the antenna you're using once again.
Okay, well, I can tell I've got to be getting farther away from you because your signal's going down just a little bit, and it's getting a little noisier. I'm at Blackstone and Barstow right now, and the antenna, I have no idea what antenna I'm using. It was about 36 inches long, and that's just about all I could tell you about it.
Okay, so he's using, I don't know if you're listening, Harvey, he's probably using, it says 36-inch antenna, so I'm assuming it's a loaded, some type of a loaded base or mid-coil antenna, not a 102-inch whip, and I don't think he is in the 62 Rambler station wagon. Radio number, Radio number 5 tonight, mobile radio, the Robin T123, sounding good. You are probably just about back to your home base, so I will say 73, Mike. We always enjoy mobile radios. Eric, who is listening, SWL 17, was one of our first stations that actually went mobile many times with some radios, and this is mobile radio weather. Cliff, SWL 135, has done the mobile radio thing, so we're always appreciative when one of our operators takes the time to string the wires, make the cables, and try not to break something to give us a mobile radio check-in. Thanks, Mike. Over.
Thank you. My pleasure. 73.
All right. Thanks for that. Let's see. I want to keep going here. The mobile radio is a good thing when it glows in the dark. A good convection air cooled on a nice, probably 75-degree balmy central Fresno evening, and some mobile tube radio here on the old Tube Radio Network. Paul, I doubt you were able to hear. Maybe you were. I don't know if you were able to hear Mike on his mobile radio here in central Fresno. But if you're around, Paul, we're ready for your radio number 6. Over. And the break OTR standby 1. Hello, 45. Paul, are you there? Over.
Yeah, I can hear him on the iPad, but I couldn't hear him on the radio. We're a little bit too far apart. He sounded good on the iPad. Anyway, I want to check in my executive CTZ-50.
All right, from, what is it, Executive Crystal Manufacturing. I think that's who makes in that radio. And what is the model number again? Over.
It's an Executive CTZ-50 made by International Crystal. Dennis?
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but Mike was being, too modest. He made the antenna. He put it together. And then he had to figure out whether it would work. And then to get the match right, he had to insert an antenna tuner, and he tuned everything all up right, but he made the thing. And, sounds awesome. I just wanted to let you know that he put that all together.
Oh, that's right. He said he was using an LDG tuner. That kind of went right past me. And when he said that, I thought, well, that's actually a cool way to do it. And so I suppose you could do that with a 102-inch whip. But in theory, you wouldn't need that much matching. But if you're down at 36, so his loading coil was the LDG tuner, which is pretty neat because it's going to figure out where it needs to be and do that for you. So we'll talk more about that. Thanks for accentuating that point that I missed, Harvey, about the tuners. And we may have figured out a way to go mobile very easy if you have the right stuff. All right, Harvey, I have pulled up a picture of the CTZ 50. I don't think this is yours. This one looks like it has seen better days. Over.
No, that's not me. Somebody else has it.
That should be Paul. Radio number 6. Hello, Paul. I've got a shot of the CTZ 50. Over.
Have a little slower, Mike. I got to get a little special position right here. Yeah, CTZ-50, made by International Crystal. You have one in your, I think you guys listed there. I think that's a CTZ-50 also. All right. There's over to the 50N, like the mine here. I don't know what the N is for on this thing. Anyway, it's got a 9-tube. It's 2 receive crystals, 3 transmit crystals. It's strange why they do it. It's got a wide range VFO. It's really wide for back then. Goes all the way to channel 26 and starts from 1. Interesting radio. International Crystal made a really interesting radio. I don't think they were too popular, but they were interesting. Back to you.
Well, they were basic. It reminds me of the General Radio Telephone VS series or the E.F. Johnson Messenger series, something to be Class D, to be easy to use. I see if we've got the right one here, there are maybe a modulation, some dial lights to kind of guide you that you're actually transmitting. Looks like it has the typical hardwired microphonium. I was checking to see if I could find what Sam's photo fax this was in, if it was in any of them. My guess this is one of the earlier 60s radios, and it may have some versions where it's 6 volt and 12 volt. And I was also checking to see if it said it was a super het receiver or dual conversion or something. But you seem to be hearing me, and I am hearing you, and it's got good audio. Over.
Okay. Oh, okay, up that time. Harvey's pretty familiar with this radio. He just had one of the swamp meets, Red Monkeys, and this one here, Rob won. In the meantime, Rod took over and sold it to me, and a carp swamp meet. That's how I got it. Man, I got it. Nice radio. Did a good job on it, Harvey. It's got a banana-type mic on the thing, and it's hooked in from the rear, so you really stretch this cord out when you're bringing it around to the... I had no idea why it does that. I just lost it here. Back again. Okay, back to you.
All right, it's back. I don't know. Maybe if you're pulling the cord or something, there's something that doesn't like to be stretched that certain way. I'm like that sometimes. Sounds good. One of the rarer ones that we get occasionally, the CTZ or anything from International Crystal Manufacturing, which I think, did they cease business a couple years ago? I remember reading an article about that. 3 channels, no waiting, but you can only talk on one at a time. And the audio sounding pretty good. I'll go back to you for another transmission. I didn't pop in the OR band meter, which I will do next time and see how it rates. It sounds loud, so I think it's going to do pretty good. Back to you for a transmission on the executive. Over.
Okay, some of your questions on the thing. It was sold 1962, and it cost $150. So that's kind of interesting. $150 is not much money for a nice radio like this. I'll hold it in here. It just cuts out on me once in a while. I got to clean the switch inside it. Okay, back to you. Thanks for checking in, Dad.
All right, check your crystal. I have a Johnson Messenger 1 that does the same thing. It vibrates. The tube, the inside will vibrate as you talk, as you modulate, and it will vibrate the tube or the crystal out of the socket just enough where it stops transmitting. Mine was actually on the receive. If somebody's really loud, it vibrates the receive crystal out. out of the socket, and you have to kind of bang on the cabinet to get it back in. Thanks for bringing it by. Good sound, good audio, nice and loud. No problem with that. And that's Radio 6, the Executive CTZ50. Thanks, Paul. SWL 60, Joe is stepping up in the air chair. Don't take a transmission yet. There was a station that broke in a little while ago and that I told to stand by. I hope you are still there. I did not forget about you, but I wanted to keep the radio traffic going here. The station that broke in a moment ago, are you still listening? Over?
Yeah, 131.
Okay, what was the number? Over?
131.
131. All right, thanks for being patient. Sometimes it's like trying to get on the freeway in the morning when they turn on the light, right? And you just kind of have to sneak your way in. You did good. SWL 131. Thank you, Mr. Rude. All right, I will get you checked in on the SWL official check-in list, and I wanted to make some comments as Joe steps up in the air chair. Who was listening? Chrissy's listening in tonight, saying that just so you know, it's not my fault that the general radios are being stacked this go around. So I never know. I never know what's going to happen with the radio. Sometimes it'll be a Browning night or a Lafayette night, or sometimes we'll have one of each. It's just the way it works here on the old Tube Radio Network, and that is certainly the way we like it. Radio number 7 is coming up now. Hello, 60, over.
Thank you, Dennis. Let me check in this Johnson Messenger 223 with a ceramic mic, stock mic.
Proving once again that the Tube radios had some pretty doggone good audio, and they were basically made to work well without having to buy any extra pieces or parts, including, as we might say, the amplified microphonium. I'm going to put up the bigger picture here of the radio that you have that fits in nicely with the radios that have been checking in tonight. This one, considering what's checked in tonight, is more of a deluxe model with all 23 channels, the nice S-meter display, and this was the top of the line for Messenger from the, as I was talking earlier, the Viking, or the Whiteface, the Messenger 2, and then the 223, the Messenger 2 with a nice S-meter, and all crystals provided. Back to you.
Yeah, boy, I'm telling you, it's one thing you don't have a problem is seeing the meter or the dial, the two channels. It's got a nice lighted display. Doggone it, very simple to operate, and gets plenty hot.
Yeah, well, tubes, transistors are not supposed to get hot. They do. Well, and that's why they need heat sinks. A tube just loves it. It'll sit there and produce heat, and the heat sink is the convection cooling vents in the top. Notice none of these radios that I know of ever had a fan built in. I guess at 5 watts. I know the Yaesu FT101 had a fan in the back, but that's not an 11-meter Class D radio. But I don't know if any of these radios, any of the tube radios that had built-in fans, and they were meant to get a little warm, but the tubes can handle that. The other component parts I don't know about. And unlike the Pierce Simpson Guardian 23, where you might not be asked to give a signal report, this radio with a nice S-meter will work just fine. Can you see the meter quite well on that? Is it illuminated?
Oh, boy, I'm telling you. I have no problem seeing the meter or the dial. It's nice and bright and white and just clean.
Okay, I'm going to do something that was done a lot back when these radios were new. And I'm doing it for you. Right now I've got our old Tube Radio S-meter displayed, and I think you were at about an S9. So I'm going to ask you in the greatest 11-meter CB radio style, like you might have heard in 1969, on May 23rd of 1969, when that radio was brand new on the shelf. Someone would have keyed their microphonium and said, "Hey Joe, what am I hitting you with?"
doggone it. Yeah, no, now that brings back old memories there for sure. Yeah, doggone it, Dennis. What am I hitting you with? I've got a good strong carrier on you. You're definitely hitting me with 9, maybe 10 pounds. But doggone it, what am I hitting you with, Dennis?
You were on the display screen earlier at S9, and on certain modulation peaks, you get another 5 dB over S9. So we're about equal in signal strength. You are certainly full quieting, and on your next transmission, I'll pull up the Orband loudness meter and see how that thing rates tonight. Go ahead.
Oh, appreciate that. Yeah, any info we can get on these radios. Doggone it, I have another one there I'm going to warm up, and hopefully it'll sound half as good as this one.
Yeah, you're getting minus 15, so you're in our top 25 on the loudness tonight, and again, that is with a radio with the supplied stock microphonium doing what it does best. Radio number 7 at 9:53 on Old Tube Radio Network, Saturday evening, checking in the classic radios from the 1960s and the 1970s, and Joe has one of them. It's the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223. Back to you for a transmission. Thanks for bringing it by.
Thanks for letting me check it in, Dennis. Doggone it. Yeah, we'll let the old channel rock, like they say, rock and roll.
And rock and roll. The Jingle Singers are at the microphonium again, and they'll give us a little taste of the magic. And I think this is, if you would like to dance along for the next 20 seconds, I think this is a cha-cha. I bet the seersucker suit would go quite well on the dance floor with the OTR Jingle Singers and the OTR cha-cha. Here we go.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic.
Old Tube Radio.
For you.
And we are listening for radio number 8.
I don't want to check in yet.
Well, this is the I don't want to check in frequency. Well, I see that you have wandered out into the radio room. I guess you were there when you were on 2 meters, or was that a handheld? It was a pretty decent signal.
Oh, yeah. I have to kind of watch the meter and such, because I have to blow the dust out of this thing. Even though I have time to do it now, I haven't done it yet. On Mike's setup, he and I talked on the phone around 5 o'clock, and he was right, but he found the antenna, the piece of metal, and it is an antenna of sorts, and he had to figure out how to get into his mag mount. He did that, and we talked about the match, and I mentioned to him what you talked about, 102-inch whip. And I said, hey, 102 inches, put that in thirds, and what do you get? And he's thinking, and I told him pretty close to 36, it's 34 inches. And I said, 2 inches off, your match will be off a little bit, and you might have to cut the antenna. Then he said, I have an antenna tuner. So he did that, and voila, perfection. But he did all that, I think today, put it all together.
Good deal. Well, there you go. That's a consummate ham radio operator coming out there. And so, what was the mounting? Was there a? You said it was like a mag mount, or was it a already base mount with some type of a screw situation where he could screw in the element? And then the coax has to connect to something. So and grounding. It obviously was not having any grounding issues. I didn't hear any oscillations, and it was sounding great.
I'll have to tell you about that. All I know is that it was a mag mount, and he was able to take the piece of metal antenna and stick it in the mag mount. But he can explain that. I didn't really ask him about that. I said, is it secure? And he said, yep. And that was all I needed to know.
Interesting. I think he's there, so we'll talk. I think I still have on the Riviera. I did a thing like that. I made a dual band running a mag mount with a couple of wires, like a 19-inch, I think, for 2 meters, and a 7 or 8-inch for the 440 when I had my first dual band HT, and that's right. It was a trunk lip mount. But the nice thing about that is the mount is there. You can get it mounted, and you have the coax already running in, which is actually a problem. So that solves that problem. And then his ingenious when using the SGC tuner was great, because then that's your loading coil basically. It'll figure it out for you. Okay, top of the hour. The Jingle Singers want to do. What do they want to do? They want to do something. So let me do that, and then if there's another check-in of sorts, we'll take that. And if Mike is there, wants to talk a little bit about the antenna, because I think that's interesting, we will do that as well. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR. 27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
And OTR standing by. And staying up late tonight, the mighty KUH, hello Brian, out in the Radio Shack, beaconing into the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Actually, I still have a reservation here for SWL20 on one of my check-in spots.
Okay, hopefully this is working, yes?
I hear items of interest, over.
All right, I didn't want to barge in there. It feels like I'm cutting in line. SWL20, was it your turn?
He said he wasn't quite ready, and as the 12-string guitar song said, walk right in and sit right down.
Oh, good. I kind of caught that in the tone of his voice, so I thought I'd come in here and buy him a little more time. So I guess I was right. First and foremost, that was absolutely exhilarating. I'm sorry to drive so much pleasure from something that I'm sure pretty much all of the other listeners right now would find so trivial. But that was fun. I will switch gears, and then maybe we can go back to that if you feel like it. But I am not mobile right now. It's nice to sit down and not, have to scan as you're driving down the road, scan for police, and just being under the constant fear that you're going to have to throw a microphone down so as not to appear as though you're talking on the phone or whatever. But I am back in the radio lounge, sitting in a rather comfortable chair, no driving skills needed. On a Robin T123B. B is in, not going mobile tonight.
Well, it's earlier sister or brother, the T123, did the mobile thing with flying colors. So this one, even though it's newer, taking a much-needed rest. Somebody mentioned something about a green radio. Here's our green radio of the evening. And good night to Smarty Jones, who is leaving us out there in New York. Thanks for joining the Old Tube Radio Network with duct tape and all. I don't think there's any duct tape on this particular radio. And it is safe and sound on the shelf. Take a transmission.
Okay, well, what can I say about this? This particular one does not have the Mad Sky tube, and that, of course, was basically the main feature that kind of drew me to purchasing my first tube radio. But this does have, how many lamps does it have on the front of it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's got 5 lights in addition to the channel selector knob. I'm looking at the modulation lamp right now, and it's saying definitely you have to just scream into the microphone, which of course I'm not really comfortable doing. What else is illuminated here? A blue transmit light. That looks fancy. I like it.
Lots of lights. I switched over when you were talking about the modulation to the Orban loudness meter. Yeah, you were down at minus 20. So the lower numbers is less, the higher numbers. And somewhere, I've got it set, so somewhere between minus 18 and minus 14 is a typical range. When you started to modulate a little bit heavier, it actually pushed it up to almost minus 17. So that's probably really where you need to be on the audio. Although I hear you just fine. Your signal is good, but if you're talking your normal level, it gets you down to minus 20. So you're a little under modulated in that sense. But you knew that because you have all those lights winking, blinking, or not.
Oh yeah, definitely. I got to ask real quick. I don't know if Robin ever manufactured an amplified mic. Did they ever do that on any of their radios? If so, I'd love to get a hold of one. I'm on the unamplified, what I believe is a stock mic, and although it looks great, you do just have to scream into it, and that's just something I'm not, really comfortable nor good at doing. So I don't know if there wasn't a stock Robin mic that was amplified. I'd definitely be interested in getting my hands on one.
There was a mic, and it shows up in one of Cliff's pictures with a Robin that he has. I think it's called the MT1. The letter M, the letter T, Mike Tango number 1. I do not recall if it is amplified or not. Maybe I can remember, or if you hear, I think that would be the desk microphone that goes with it. Maybe it has a little bit more sensitive element or something. I don't know. It's probably just what you've got there stuck in a bass configuration. It's hard to say, but the audio is not. Don't discount the audio from that radio, albeit just a little bit low. The quality is fine, and I can tell from the double ping that SWL20 is prepping and warming up the tube. So back to you on the Robin.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you, SWL20 for doing that. It gets me up here, which is always a good thing when I stop embarrassing myself. But yeah, for what it's worth, the microphone, I guess it does its job. It's fun to use. It's not the best one though. It's not like the Browning banana mic. I think that's probably the one that I enjoy using the most. But if it works, it works. So on that, I'll send it back to you so we can get over to Harvey. And then if you want to chat afterwards, actually Harvey too, I've got a couple questions as far as operating mobile. But anyways, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, and thank you for bringing by the radio. I did a little search. I see there's a YouTube video. It says a Robin T123B tube type CB and MT1 desk mic. Looks like it's from 2011, so that might be something to check out. You might find out what they think about that. I didn't get any good pictures. Maybe OTR has the only picture of an MT1 desk mic. Thanks for radio number 8, the Robin T123B, here on the Old Tube Radio Network, where it is after 10 o'clock, but that's okay. I want to make sure we get all the radios checked in that are warming up tonight. And we have a couple stations checking out. They've been listening SWLing tonight. Have a great weekend and a good holiday weekend, and stay safe. And maybe stay out of the crowds. I think there's going to be a lot of crowds this weekend. So thanks for staying up late with us tonight. Let me give a shout out to the West Side and possibly SWL20. Hello, Harvey.
I'm not checking in my radio yet. I'm going to wait. Yes, the MT1, and then there's a real, which is a silver, black, and white microphone, kind of on the order of a +2 desk mic. It's dynamic, and it's got a volume control on the back, a push button on the front, but no push button lockdown on the front. There's a switch on the back next to the left of the gain control, and you slide that, up from down. You slide it up, and it says Lock Talk, and keeps you talking. Anyway, that's the MT1. Yeah, I've got one sitting here. I've been waiting to wire it up to either the 123D I have or the 123. But I'm going to check each radio's wiring, mic wiring. They might be different, so I might have to change one so it'll work on both. But then they have another gaudy looking mic. I think it's called something Supermod, all chrome, and I believe it's dynamic also. And there might be a Supermod too, but I'm not sure. But I know it's something Supermod, and then, but I like the MT1. Cliff does have one, I've got one here too.
And as you were talking, Harvey, I was able to pull up, and interestingly enough, we did feature that MT1 microphone tonight in the photo that I was showing when Mike was mobile on the T123. We were using Cliff's photo, and it has the MT1 in it. So I've zoomed in on that, and it's off in the left-hand corner for those looking at the picture of the video. And it shows, you can see the detail of looks like some type of a volume or a gain control in the back of the microphonium, and then the push-to-talk switch or the bar in the front. And like you said, similar, but not, exactly similar to, say, something like a +2. Almost has more of a Shure desk microphonium look to it. But there it is, and it is indeed attached to his 123. So might be an addition to add to that radio. Although, as we've noted, the audio does not sound bad at all. But something to put on the wish list. Back to you. Maybe with the official check-in of that radio.
Well, I'm waiting to see if somebody else will check in, and maybe I can be 11.
Oh, okay. Well, we're actually at 9. We're waiting for Radio 9 here on the Old 2 Radio Network. So while we're doing that, maybe the Jingle Singers, it is, okay, their late night ditty, which we call, in the sheet music, it's number 7. So they've got the sheet music for number 7, and here we go on the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11,
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be modern.
And we are indeed looking for radio number 9.
Nobody, Dennis?
Well, I'm not hearing it. Not hearing it. A comment. No factory CB microphone would ever have been amplified by the FCC. They would not allow it, which sort of goes with what we've seen, especially on the like the general radio telephones, where they didn't want the noisemaker, they didn't want the built into the radio tone calls. If it was a separate box, it would be okay. What was the other one? But you could build in, it wasn't the microphone. That's why the range boost and the amplification was built in as a switch to the radio. So that's interesting. Also want to say, happy birthday to one of our longtime SWLs and radio operators, Captain Robert, who's, 57. That's a great number, the 57. Wishing everyone to be safe. Happy birthday and have a good Memorial holiday there, Captain Robert. And also a good night to Ham Keith 1234, saying good night to all the old Tube Radio Network land. And in Virginia, where it is, after 1 o'clock. It's after 10 o'clock here. We're kind of going late tonight, but we wanted to make sure we get all the radios checked in. So thanks for staying up late. I guess that's why where I keep the videos up. So if you need to kick out early, but you want to see if you missed your favorite radio, you can always dial in the video. And this is probably going to be the one that people will check the video for as they are dropping out. So go ahead, Harvey.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about the tubes real quick. Basically, the first Browning receiver, the R2700, and also the second receiver, R2700A, used similar tubes, but the RF gain tube was a 6DC8, 6 Bravo Charlie 8. And now, kind of an oddball, but you can use a 6BQ7, I think maybe a BZ7, maybe another, if you had to, if you can't get the 6BC8. Kind of semi-hard to come by. You can find them on now and then, and like right now, on eBay. But if you want to keep the radio with the correct tubes, BC8. Well, I went out and I acquired a bunch of them. So they arrived today, and a couple more will arrive soon. So I'll have them. That's for here. Anybody around here that's got either one of those receivers, if you don't have that tube and it goes out, well, you'll have to try and find it or use a 6BQ7, etc. The other two, which is the 6 Bravo Victor 8, 6BV8. That's a twin diode, IMU triode tube. It does three things. AVC, it's a limiter tube, and it does your meter in the receive there. Three things. That tube goes, you start to lose one or all three of those things. That's the only tube that will go in that socket. There is no replacement unless you want to hunt up something similar and rewire the tube socket. So, anyone with a R2700 or R2700A should just go out and get at least one of those two tubes and just stick it on the shelf by the radio, just in case. So, since I've been stuck indoors, basically I acquired about 8 or 9 of those things. And for around here, I've got them, and I'll make sure they all test good, etc. And then anybody somewhere else in the country, look them up on eBay or whatever, and then it would do you good to probably get one or two if you have those receivers. They don't go in the R27, the R27 or the Gold Eagle or any of the others. Just those two receivers. But I kind of noticed that while I've been stuck indoors, so I went out and got them. So anybody around here that needs one or wants to have an extra, just let me know, and I'll get them to you. Okay, that was it about the tubes, Dennis.
Okay, good information. And the tube number again was at 6 Bravo Charlie 8, over?
Now, the last one in the receive chain that does the three things, 6 Bravo Victor 8. And the one that's the first one is 6CB8. Oh, no, 8. 6BC8? I'm having trouble remembering because I'm old. But anyway, whatever I said the first time was probably right. Let me think. What was on the box? 6BC8. Bravo Charlie 8. 6BC8 is the first one, which is the RF amp. And the last one in the receive chain that does your AVC, limiter, and meter is the 6 Bravo Victor 8. Oh boy. And that's the hard one to find. I mean, they're out there on eBay, but some of the prices are outrageous. So if you can find them cheap, if you're out about the country, wouldn't hurt to pick up one or two. And then anybody local, you can get them from me. I'll have them all tested and make sure they're fine. And unless you want to get them from eBay, I mean, it's up to you. But it's a thought because if it starts to go out, you just can't, reach in your box of tubes and probably grab one because they're very hard to find. Okay, back to you.
Yeah, especially if you're looking in the 12AX7 box, it'll be super hard to find. All right, good information, and good to know that. So people will be able to, stocking the shelves for your R27, for your early. Those are the early 1959, 60, 61 receivers. Good to have on hand to keep all those multifunctional things functional. Okay, I bet you are now ready to check in a radio that may not or may have one of those tubes you were mentioning.
Okay, I'm on the Golden Beagle from Browning Laboratories, the R68T68 with custom D104 with the Browning medallion on the back of the D104. Yeah, that's the radio I'm on there. Oh, and by the way, I picked up a chassis for R2700A. And the A I picked up, you'll love this. Okay, the R2700 was two chassis bolted together with a couple of spacers, leave a little space. And they had some holes in the sides of the inside part, and they ran wires through there. Okay, so the R2700, two chassis. A couple of, or for a while, the R2700A was a two chassis radio, then they made it one chassis. And I think the one I got is the two chassis radio. So, I'm not sure, I have to look. But anyway, I picked up a chassis, actually with a couple of tubes in it, and all the tuning cans. So I'll have parts if anybody around here needs parts. So I picked up that there.
We might be able to. What was the song that Johnny Cash sang about putting a car together from various parts from different cars? Maybe we can do a radio like that. It'll be a Browning, Pierce Simpson, General Robin, E.F. Johnson, Lafayette, something or other, with just pieces and parts from all of them together. And then I won't know how to check it in.
Oh, I got one for you. One of Bill's, or one of the Buddy bases that came in when I was at the shop, we were getting them going, etc., etc. One had a blown modulation transformer. Thing was pretty much fried, and couldn't find a modulation transformer. But I had the schematic, and I have a Buddy. So, modulation transformer and transmitter, of course. Anyway, so I undid the wiring of one of my transmitters, and I checked the measurements in the wiring to see what it seemed to be. And lo and behold, a General Super MC11A modulation transformer was real close. I had it mounted a little different, but I stuck it in and it worked like a charm.
Sort of, I suppose, you know, if you were you personally were to receive a part from somebody, it'd be the same thing. It's like you wouldn't know that you know, that liver you got didn't belong to you as long as it was functioning, right?
Say that again about what?
Never mind. I do have you checked in with the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68.
Okay, Dennis. Remember, I'm old. Sometimes I drop out now and then, and I don't mean the radio. Anyway, yeah. So we had a buddy transmitter with a general radio telephone modulation transformer in it. Seemed to work fine. I also picked up, oh, by the way, for those who don't get on eBay enough or Facebook, Nichols' son, the gentleman that ended up with all of the Browning stuff other than Barcat, Nichols' son sold all the remaining stuff he had to this other gentleman, and that other gentleman started selling on eBay. I contacted him asking him for certain things, and sure enough, I would buy something I could use, and he'd send me other stuff. And I said, you don't have to do that. And he said, I've got pallets of stuff. So for Browning parts, the guy's got a ton of it. Most of the prices, I'd say okay. And then some are outrageously okay. So anyway, now and then when I see something that I think we could use down the road, I grab it.
That's a good thing, and we appreciate it having the parts bin. Sort of what I was mentioning earlier, like some people have on their driver's licenses, the little, you know, check the box as a donor. Maybe we should have certain radios that have, you know, on the Old Tube Radio Network, your radio has its own donor card. So if you check the box, if for some reason the radio at some time in its history goes toes up, and it has that box checked on its donor card, then we could safely go in and pull transformers and 6 BC6 tubes and capacitors and crystals to donate to save the lives of other radios. That would be a good thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, the next thing I'm going to ask him for is a transformer from an R27 power transformer, and see if he's got it. The Browning number is A225, because a lot of people end up with the transceiver unit from the Browning Drake, what is it, 523 or 512, that mobile base, and they don't have a power supply for it. And the transformer that goes in the power supply is the same as the transformer in the R27 receiver, which, by the way, is the same as the transformer in the R2700A receiver. So, but I believe not the R2700, but I think they're close enough, so if you change a resistor in the power supply, coming right off the secondary, you can get it to work fine. But anyway, so people on Facebook were talking about that. They didn't know how to, they didn't have a power supply, so I mentioned this is the transformer you have to get. So anyway, you get that, and the rest of it's a piece of cake, building it.
All right, well, that's easy for you to say, but the fact that you can say it gives me confidence that it can be done.
I built 3 of them. I've got one, and Paul's got one, and I don't know where the other one went. And believe it or not, I did it off of Bill's power supply before he sold his. I looked at it and said, all you got is this. That's it. And then the cable. And then it goes from here to there. So I went, okay, I can do that. So I did it, built 3 of them. And then about 2 months ago, somebody had the 523 owner's manual and schematic on eBay. And I looked, and it was like a 6-day auction, and it was already down to 2 days, and nobody bought it. So I said, they don't want that much for it, so I bought it. I've got it here. So if anybody needs a schematic for the 523, and I think and it's got the AC, 12-volt DC, and 6-volt power supply for those who want to put it on their motorcycle.
Don't give Michael any ideas. He just might do that. You gotta stay safe. All right, well, good. This is all good information. And then Jimmy chimed in on the chat saying he may have parts and things as well for people who are keeping things together, and he runs a couple of Facebook. I know it's CB Radio Central is one, and others. So he's got parts, and I bet Toby's probably got parts as well. So between all of us here around the U.S., we might keep all these radios up and running so that they can check in, whether it's to an old tube radio network or somewhere on Skip or whatever people do in their local communities to get on the air and have fun and promote the hobby. I know the FCC doesn't like us to say that, but promote the use and distribute information about the 11-meter citizen band radio service. That keeps the FCC happy.
Okay. The Jimmy you're talking about, is the last name start with F-I-E something like that?
You are correct, sir.
Oh, yeah. I see his posts all the time. Good guy. I hardly ever get on there. I've made a couple of comments. That's about it. But, oh, yeah. I love going on there and kind of reading what they're talking about and all that and looking at the radios and such. And they're all back there and we're out here.
Yeah, I noticed that. Seems like there are not any really, and maybe I'm misspeaking here, astute West Coast pages versus the Old Tube Radio Network. But I mean, there's nothing like what's going on. The amount of work that they put into keeping things up and managing and administrating things. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work, and I would think a lot of patience to keep things and everybody in order and happy. So we are all the benefactors of that, and that's what I like about our expansion of OTR is that it's sort of melding all these things together, and all the information and brain power that we didn't have here all these years is now accessible. And same way going the other way, all the radios and brain power we have here are now being distributed out that way. So good stuff. All right, last call for radios here at 10:35 Pacific. What are we on? Daylight time for the Old Tube Radio Network. I think I'm getting up super early tomorrow. I don't know. I'll I'll know when I start falling asleep in a couple hours. But it looks like we did pretty good. I'm counting and amounting and trying to figure out who the most heard manufacturer was. Thanks for the R68 T68. It was Radio 9 tonight.
49.
Okie dokie.
And I think we may have broken into the double digits. Did I hear a 49 over?
You did hear a 49. I thought I might try to sneak this old Browning Eagle in here.
All right, it's very good. This is your week for, running in right as the general manager, or whoever is the store manager is closing the doors, and you get to be, and you've been there before. I've been there before. You get to be that last one in when you try not to break the law, and you zoom into the parking lot, and you try and park as nicely as you can in your rush, and you get to that door and you think it ain't going to happen, and you get in and they lock the doors behind you. That has just happened.
Yes, and I've been there many times as I've worked retail for quite a few years and the past years, and yeah, you kind of usually grunt to yourself and say, oh God, come on. So I'll try and make this quick, knowing that you've got to get it early and I'm at the end of the show here. So yeah, again, bringing by this Browning Eagle R27 and S23 combo. I believe I've heard quite a few Brownings out there tonight, so I wanted to try to possibly ensure that it might be a Browning evening.
We will see. I'm adding it now, and I haven't done the official counting and amounting. I just tallied up the SWLs. So anybody at the beginning of the show know that we had a big stack of one of the manufacturers right off the bat. So we'll see if this has thwarted those efforts. The Browning, let's see, what did you tell me? And I think I've already put up R27, S23. I guess if we're being historically accurate, this would be the first of the Eagle series for Browning.
I do believe so. And again, just happy as hell to bring it by one of my favorite CD sets that I have here. One of the best looking CD sets, I believe, that was manufactured, in my opinion. So, yeah, just wanted to sneak this radio in here again and possibly make this a Browning evening. And we do thank you much for getting her checked in for us.
All right, thanks for bringing by nice audio. There is the shot. This is from, this set is from Joe, who used to check in when he was in town here. It also has the addition of the 180 business band amplifier, but very well built and not overly done with lots of extra knobs and things. It gives you full control of the transmitter and the receiver and some dials and things for those who, want to do a little bit more than just turn on the volume and adjust the squelch. Maybe want to DX a little bit. You've got the whole thing there. Radio 10, the Browning R27 S23, which was produced from sometime in 1964 to sometime, probably the middle of, or the end of 1966. There was a Series 1 and a Series 2. Series 2 are larger meters, neon modulation indicator, and the lighted on the air indicator. And I see that somewhere, I don't know where, but somewhere in the Old Tube Radio Network archives, we have what looks like a accessible or maybe downloadable operator's manual. But obviously you don't need that because you're sounding great. Thanks for bringing it by.
Okay, and again, thanks for checking it in. As a matter of fact, I bought this set from Joe, Mr. Yogi Bear, here about 10 years ago, so chances are the picture you are looking at is the set that I purchased off of him. I can't see that picture offhand here, but this also came with a D104, non-amplified D104, that has been powder coated to match the radio with the two-tone brown and gold kind of color spectrum, though. So very nice set here.
Yeah, well, we're actually showing the one that has a D104. The head looks like it may be, the stand and base are the kind of brushed aluminum and the chrome, but it looks like the actual element and head have been possibly modified.
Okay, well, this may have been something that he got later on, though, but I do believe that this set should be what's pictured there. He did mention he had two, so hey, about a 50% chance there, I guess.
All right, pretty cool. I didn't know that, and this is one of the better shots I have that I say we have a little bit more copyright over to display here, so I always like to put this one up, but I might make the disclaimer that it has the extra amplifier in there, so people don't shudder. The FCC might be watching. Hello, the FCC, if you're watching, the Old Tube Radio Network. That's like, no, that's not my radio. I only have two pieces. Wink, wink. All right, thanks for Radio 10. Any other stations that want to get checked in here before we sign out yet again tonight? And I'll be counting and amounting, and I will be right back on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Hey, Dennis.
This is the Basic Dennis.
Basic Dennis, I keyed up too quick. You said Jimmy said something to you. I don't see a post. How'd he do it?
If you click on the link that is the video link, the actual live video, which I think you can do from your phone if you click up on the video thing, but you go to the YouTube link. I believe is how you do it. You actually bring up the YouTube. He is on the chat there, and this is up. We keep the videos up, and he just mentioned he's been listening on and off tonight, which he sometimes does. And he mentioned if anyone is looking for parts, contact me. I can probably hunt them down, and I'm sure that he can.
Did he say he was looking for a part?
No, he was mentioning, as were you, that he has contacts and, is pretty knowledgeable about the items that he might be able to hunt down a part for those looking, since we were talking about parts.
Okay. Now, there is one part I'm having fun trying to rebuild it. The switch on the R2700 that goes momentary down, locks in the middle, and then locks up at top, on the receiver to shut it off. You leave it in the middle and use the transmitter relay to do it. Now, depending on what transmitter you're using and the cable you're using, sometimes you have to do it manually. Anyway, when the thing was shipped to me, it got dented in the rear right at that switch and broke the back of the switch. But I found another wafer type thing that's identical, except not identical. It's got the right contacts in the right positions, but it's a little smaller, so I have to mount it slightly differently, because there's no way I'm going to find another one, I think. So anyway, other than that, that's the only part, but I've been looking for that for quite a while, and I've got other stuff to work on, as some local people know, so I got to get back to doing that when I'm up to it there. Okay, I'll let you go. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, good deal. Thanks for that. Counting and amounting here. Just take a look at any of your other comments. And you know what? I wonder if that is out there in Fayetteville. If that's Mr. J, who actually, I know I lost the email. I saw it when I was checking in earlier. That might be Jay listening. If it is Jay, hello to you. And I did get your email. It's been a long time. I forgot that you had contacted me, and I said, man, I can't believe I wrote that much back. But Jay is one of the audio gurus that when I was getting into the 20 meters guys, audio gurus that I aspired to. And hopefully that a lot of us will, when cycle 25 opens back up, get back on the air and maybe do some 20-meter stuff or some 10 a.m. I heard a beacon for about 5 minutes today, and I don't know where it was from because it was too weak. But do some interesting stuff. So that's you, Jay. We're going late tonight, so you may you may be listening with one ear open. Hopefully, you'll get some good DX and some good contacts on some of the other bands. Back in a moment here on the Old Tube Radio Network as we're counting and amounting and see if we can shut this thing down before someone comes and kicks us off the frequency here. All right, back in the control room. Let me clear. I do want to clear out the rigs, and we want to. I'm trying to. They installed that refrigerator over in the other studio, and it's really hard to get anybody's attention to walk up to the RCA ribbon microphones there and get us signed off here for the evening. All right, I think I have their attention, and it's probably because it's so late. They're thinking probably that I'm not still on the air, but we are. Here we go. Your Old Tube Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
All right, the current and final OTR totals for this May 23rd, 2020. Still hard to believe that we are this far into the 21st century, at least date-wise anyway. Here on the Old Tube Radio Network, we may not have jumped into the 21st century just yet, and that's okay. 63 SWLs tonight. A good night for that. 12 on page 1, 18 on page 2, 15 on page 3, and 18 on page 5. For a total of 63, and we did make double-digit radios. Thanks for staying up late and letting Smitty through the door at the end. 10 radios tonight, and the most heard manufacturer. It was just too hard to get through that pile-up of General Radio telephones that happened right at the beginning. General Radio telephones at 3. Browning Laboratories at 2. Started off with the Pierce Simpson Guardian 23, and there is a radio that could definitely take the most heard manufacturer because there are a lot of them around here in the valley. The Pierce Simpson Guardian 23 from Mr. Green Arrow. Radio number 2 was Jerry Sidekick on the General Radio Telephone MC5. That was followed by Paul on the General Radio Telephone MC6 the year after, where they got rid of the tone call. FCC didn't like noisemaker things, and so they made General Radio Telephone change the switch to the bullhorn, which they did. After that, Radio 4 was the General Radio Telephone Super MC 11A from Chris, and that gave us the triple play that was hard to beat from beautiful downtown Burbank. Radio number 5 from the mobile, yes, mobile Old Tube Radio tonight, and truly done in mobile style as he was beaconing down the Avenue of Dreams here, Blackstone Avenue in Fresno, California, on the Homebrew mobile antenna, matched from the LDG tuner, and sounding really good. Mike, if you're listening, I hope you get a chance to tune into the archives and look and listen to your great signal from the Robin T123. in the mobile. Radio number 6, Paul, on the Executive CTZ-50 from International Crystal Manufacturing. Radio 7, Mr. Hustler Joe, on the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223. What a great radio. You cannot go wrong if you are looking to start your collection to try and find an E.F. Johnson 223. All 23 channels, S-meter, no confusing controls, a workhorse. A workhorse at best. That's like getting your standard Chrysler or Chevy or Ford, you know, your first car that's going to go forever. That's that radio. Radio number 8 was the Robin T123B, not mobile tonight, from Mike. Radio number 9, as you heard moments ago, the Browning Golden, the Browning. I got to do this right, or I get a nasty letter. Radio number 9 with the Browning Lavatories, the Golden Beagle R68 T68. Thank you, Harvey. And lots of information about tubes and good stuff, you know, like we like to do here. And then radio number 10 tonight, sounding also most excellent, the R27 S23, the original Eagle from Browning, the R27 S23 series for Radio 10. So I think that is it for things happening tonight. Thanks. A lot of people staying up late with us tonight here on OTR. I'm just checking to see if anybody's made some comments. I think everybody is dropping off. It's going to be a big weekend. Probably a lot of people had a big day today out in the crowds. A lot of people out. A lot of crowds. I even heard the ice cream truck playing its little tune going down the road. So it's safe to eat your ice cream from behind the mask. Good night, everybody. Thanks to SearchLawrence.com and Frodex for the Nixie tubes, and of course, all of you for keeping the radio. I have a lot of background noise tonight, and I hear I've got the psychoacoustics turned up too high. I don't know. I don't think I was in a rush to get on the air here tonight, but at least we made it through on the Old Tube Radio Network. Good night, everybody. We will catch you next time on your favorite place to be.
Good night, Dennis. And by the way, I figured out the YouTube thing, and for me, that's pretty good. Now all you got to do is figure out how to leave a message. I think I can figure that out, but we'll maybe try that next week. Anyway, interesting. Okay, take care. Catch you next week.
All right, I think that's easier because on the Old Tube Radio Net page, you have to have Facebook to actually log in. It used to be you just had to have email, and that changed. On the YouTube thing, as long as you have a YouTube account, which I believe you have to log in, and you can jump in and leave a message that way. And I've been leaving those up most of the time, so you can go back and I try on the video to one, put the S-meter up so you can give yourself a radio check, give yourself a signal report. Tonight I was extensively using the Orban loudness meter to sort of compare the radios, where they might be, because it's interesting and deceiving. You'll hear something that sounds loud, and it's not bad. It's within the range, and you'll hear something else, and it's just like way up, and it's maybe not distorted, but that helps to tune things up a little bit. And let's see, good night, station signing out. Captain Robert and Teresa staying up really late tonight in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Hopefully we had some radios that were your favorites tonight. There are still a lot out there that are just waiting to leap, waiting to check in. So you gotta tune in, I guess, and see what happens. Good night, everybody, and I'm going to see if I can turn off all this stuff. Nothing blew up tonight, at least I know of, so that's a good thing.
Hey, Dennis, you still have my phone number, right?
You know, I do. I hope I have it handy. I was trying to be smart and engrave it into pages so that I wouldn't have to go back and go, like, I know it was in that page from 20 years ago. Great. You know what? It is not engraved. Is not engraved. Yeah, you probably give it to me on the crossband.
Oh, good. I'll do that. but I got to go in the house to do that. And then if you can give me a quick phone call tonight, that'd be good. Okay, I'll let you go. I'm going to run. I don't run much anymore. I'll waddle on in.
Okay, I will do that sooner than later because I'm going to be getting up super early tomorrow, so I will do that. And, hey, there's Jay. He says, yes, that was him. All right. Hope you're having, what do they say, good DX. And I've got great expectations with antennas and radios. Most of them broken. Especially, you know what's really broken is the 950 SDX. It's got the dreaded PLL unlock SWR garbage, and I changed the V2 thing like Cliff mentioned, and that wasn't it. I think Mike, what was it? Voodoo Mike has a couple other things, and then Bill Paul has some other stuff in there. But the problem on that is it's getting beyond my proficiency to fix. And the guys that have been fixing them, like Avid and those guys, don't even do them anymore because they're too heavy to ship. So I don't know. I'm in a quandary dilemma on the 950 SDX. And rumor has it that maybe this year in 2020 there could be some Gold Dust twins showing up, but that's like single sideband AM, so I don't know. Anyway, stay tuned to the station for more lamentations. So good night, everybody. And a honk from Boso Control. There we go. I always forget the Boso Control honk. He really smashes the meters off of the Orban. All right, signing off.
Bravo.
And I know I am on frequency.
Uh-oh. Is that the 785?
I'll be right with you. KB6GFD.
Please stand by.
All right, let me find the end stream button.
785.
Otherwise, I'll be transmitting forever. Good night, everybody.